Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ADAC GT Masters Esports Championship, the final event of an enthralling weekend of action. Lewis McGlade alongside Robert Wiesenmueller, of course, not the ones that are on the screen for you at the moment. That's our on-site Joe and commentators. We'll be taking you through the action here on the English stream. We've got 17 teams of 2 drivers battling for the prize of €1,500 across 3 tracks: the Nürburgring, Zandvoort and Moss. The Nürburgring we're running is the short one. It's going to be a very tricky circuit for everyone to overtake on all 3 of them, and car choice has been absolutely crucial. Hyman, who won yesterday, is not here. Kunze, who was second all day, is. And is he going to go one step further on the podium? Can he take victory for his team? He's obviously driving for Euronics alongside Florian Haase. We'll get the drivers introduced in a moment and get ready for that qualifying session around the Nürburgring. Here they come then. So,
Florian Haase there.
Florian Haase, yeah, starting the Euronics Gaming 1 car. They have got an Audi for the Nürburgring. Should be a very good one. Showed some good pace. Obviously won the ADAC GT Masters Championship on RaceRoom. Very strong driver. Next onto the stage will be Williams Esports Chill Blast, Jack Keithley alongside Moritz Lerner. Jack, who is starting that one? That is Jack Keithley starting at the Nürburgring when he comes onto the stage. A talent that maybe didn't quite show as much as he really should have done last night, but potentially could redeem himself today.
Yeah, there we can see Jack Keithley entering the stage, opening driver for Williams Esports. Great to see him here at the event, one of the most experienced drivers on RaceRoom. Getting a little bit tense, a little bit nervous as he's getting ready. Certainly one of the favorites in this race. And there you can see Ben Spunky from Oscaro getting to the third simulator, and they've got an interesting car choice. They took 3 different cars, Audi, BMW and Corvette in this event.
Yeah, they're taking the Audi for the first race here at the Nürburgring. The first of the odd choices is going to be coming out next. Also, Vermont is alongside Banky in that team. We've got Raikkonen and Honzik. Honzik's going to be starting this race. There we see the big man. Obviously commentating yesterday, drove for Williams on the Friday, now driving for Euronics, taking on the BMW at the Nürburgring. Then we're going to be having GTO Mega Esports. We're here at the Tuning World Bodensee. That's why it's so loud in the background. It is an amazing atmosphere. We see Martin Stefanko coming up onto the stage. He'll be qualifying that car with Roman Ivanov as his teammate. A potential dark horse. They've looked very good in practice.
Especially on the Nürburgring, they were within 1/10 of the fastest car, and they've picked the Mercedes, probably the quickest car around the Nürburgring. And then we've got Kuba Wyszynski from the second Williams team. That's Williams Esports, Razor, or as they're called on the in-game signal, Williams 2. Wyszynski from Poland, driving together with Nikodem Wisniewski.
Yeah, teammates that have been together a long time, multiple years underneath them as teammates, potentially a very, very good lineup. Maybe a little bit of an underdog here. Here we have Gergo Baudi coming up onto the stage, Team Hungary. They'll be driving the Audi as well, the number 33, all day. A driver that had everything kind of cruelly taken away from him in the final race in Sepang yesterday, but really showed some good pace, probably coming to this race with a lot of confidence for him, coming alongside David Noj.
And there's Balint Benedek, 3BV Racing, a team that only formed for this event. Nice to see them here, Benedek together with Bernard Vella.
Yeah, they're taking the Porsche though for the first race, so that's going to be a tricky one. The default setup on that Porsche, not a good one. As we see Matzik making his return, obviously was in the endurance race. He's obviously got some damage on his wrist, couldn't race yesterday, but he has come in with Johannes Weiss, who was really, really quick in that endurance race. A little bit of respect there between him and Jack Keithley. Potentially a good lineup there. We'll have to see what happens and how long he can hold out in the car. Some decent speed in that one. Next up will be Avid Chronic Racing. We've got Risto Capet, who's going to be starting that car. There he is, the Estonian. Toolman himself alongside Adam Pinches in the ACR team. Winners on the Friday. Important to note though, they do not have Richard Schaefer here. He's already returned to the Nürburgring, returned home. So we've got Capet and Pinches, still a very strong lineup.
Yes, also in the Audi, in the pink Audi. Easy to spot them. Actually, not so easy because Justus Racing Team has the same car. And there we've got Konrad Zarebiek from the Polish team, FIDA Ragnar Simulator. Great to see him here driving together with Radoslav Indika. shake hands with Garibaldi as he's getting into the simulator there. Very strong yesterday.
Yeah. They were looking pretty decent in practice as well. Obviously a team that Kuba Brzezinski and Nikodem Wisniewski used to be a part of a couple of years ago when they were first teammates. So moving away from that team, they found some strong drivers to replace those two. And definitely working out for him. We've got GTR3 with Jan Courtois and Lars Baumler. As Baumler coming onto the stage. Yeah, they've showed some decent pace over the weekend. We've had some excellent races and a lot of seriously good pace from these drivers coming in.
Lars Baumler, driver with a little bit of real racing experience from Formula Remus, the driver from Switzerland. Great to see him here in the French-Swiss team. And there we've got Karel Vega, our oldest competitor. Nice to see him here in the race. GTR3 driver, but not driving for GTR3 in this race. He's driving for the Meeting Europe team together with Daniel Duttler, the driver from Liechtenstein.
Yeah, it could be a good one for them. We've got Ballas Racing coming up next. Now they had a really unfortunate event in the endurance race, and this man, he couldn't race in that because the game crashed just before he got into the car. So Francesco Panebianco has been really, really nice and said, look, we're just going to do this for a bit of fun. You're going to take over, and you're going to do most of this. You're going to be the lead, and you're going to be in the car the most. So he's done a really nice thing, stepping aside there. The RR VGT. Only one of these today. That's Lucas Kolb getting into the car. Malte Schneider alongside.
Is he going to do a prayer now?
I think so. They obviously they had three teams in the endurance race. Only one today between those, so we're not going to get massively confused on who's who. Next up will be the Useless Racing team. Eunice Riedel going to be the first one into the car. Nicholas Riedel alongside. Nice sponsorship on the team. I almost thought they were driving for Mercedes at the time. But really
not so
really
useless
nice.
in practice either.
No,
the two brothers,
quick.
Jonas and Nicholas Riedel. Good to see him here. And then we've got the final team, Last Minute Express. They teamed up together very, very late. And there's Robert Myszkowski entering the stage. He was in the team event already, driving for Turi Esports. And they've got the final spot here. On the grid, 17 teams in the race. Great to see them here. He's driving together with Niklas Benfeld.
Yeah, we're going first then to the Nürburgring, a 3.44 kilometre, 11-turn circuit. Not too many overtaking opportunities around here, Rob. That's going to be the case for most of the day. So how do you get yourself up the grid? And how do you make this work? Because it's a very tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a very difficult task here for the drivers in the session.
Well, we were speaking beforehand about potentially some driver strategy that we could run. Obviously, you can run the window's between 10 minutes and half an hour. And you can pick any point in that window and do your driver swap. So there's a potential strategy call here to potentially put your slower driver in, let them run for 10 minutes, bring them in, get your faster driver in for the next half an hour, get them on fresh tyres, clean air, and build yourself some track position. We've already got the drivers confirmed though, so anyone that wanted to change to that strategy absolutely cannot. So I think we're going to see a lot of teams doing a straight 20-20 minute split. And most importantly from that is my thing is I had it noted down. The stage is going to be very, very busy in that window. Is that going to be distracting for the drivers who are trying to literally throw these cars around this short but technical circuit on the absolute limit, especially when we get to places like Most and Zandvoort. Zandvoort, there is no room for error. Around here, there's maybe a little bit, there's the odd tarmac runoff, but at Zandvoort, it's literally gravel trap. So they've got to be super, super careful. What we'll do is we're just going to wait until that qualifying session begins, but I thought I'd just run down some of the teams. So Audis all day. We've got 8 teams that are taking the Audi between all 3 of the races. They are Euronics 1 with Florian Haase, Julian Kunze. So they're trying to be quite strong and consistent. Williams Chill Blast and Williams Razor both also taking that. It was curious to see that the Euronics 2 did not take that. Jaroslav Honzik and Rekel, they've taken the BMW for the first race, which is the one that Honzik is qualifying. Then Rekel is qualifying the Audi at Zandvoort and then the Mercedes at Most. Potentially trying to get themselves into a position where they could potentially win that final race with that Mercedes. They did top practice around the Autodrom Most. Other teams that are taking the Audi all day, Team Hungary as well as ACR. We've also got FIDA Ragnar Simulator as well, GTR3, and the Useless Racing Team. Those lot all taking Audis all day. Is that the correct decision?
It might be, because the Audi is the fastest car out of them that you were allowed to take in all of the 3 races, because there was a credit system working, and you had to pick your cars for each track. Mercedes probably the quickest car all around, but you can only drive it once if you like it, and then you are stuck with some difficult decisions for the other tracks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Audi kind of the safe choice, I would say, because you also don't have to adapt to another car.
Yeah, that's, I mean, like, consistency is key across some of this. You don't want things to be changing, and also when you're driving with 2 drivers, certain cars may work really, really well for some cars and really, really badly for others. And so it's important to take a car that you both get along with. The Audi is one of the easiest to drive on the grid. It's one of the most comfortable. We hear this a lot from the drivers, that they are comfortable in that car.
Yeah.
And so it's an approachable car, something that you can literally just jump up onto stage and do it, which under that pressure, you're going to want to have something a bit easier, aren't you?
Yeah, the thing is, I thought a lot about the strategies because I was the one who made the system, right? With the credit system. So I was thinking maybe it's a good idea to take the Audi in the first race, the Mercedes in the second one, because it's really fast on Zandvoort, and then the Porsche in the last race. I thought it would be a great strategy. No one did it. No one used the strategy.
No, I was bringing this up when we were having a conversation with the German commentators on the main stage earlier, is that if I was going to take my faster car, I would take it at Zandvoort, because to me, Zandvoort is one of the hardest to overtake at. It is almost impossible unless you get a really, really good run, especially in these kind of cars. So I would have taken my advantage there, hopefully qualified well, and then made the most of it. The Porsche around Most would be a bit interesting, but...
Yeah, we've seen BLB Racing, and actually they're called 3BV Racing in this race, Benedek and Vella. They were struggling a little bit. So you can see the drivers logging in now into the sessions. Have a little bit of a tech issue. So now they're trying to get all into the race. You can see the first drivers logging in already, and there are some people on the grandstands here at the Tuning World Bodensee. If you are at the Tuning World Bodensee or live nearby, make sure to come and visit us here for the final day on the RaceRoom Esports circuit.
Yeah, for sure. We've got a decent crowd there, realistically. There are thousands of people walking around the room that we're in. It is hugely loud in here. The atmosphere is brilliant. We've got people that come and stand by the side to see what's going on. We've got the 4 simulators over to the left-hand side of the main stage that a lot of people get on. I mean, me and you both had a go this morning, just having a bit of fun, trying to top the time. I think you're second on it, I'm 5th. We're obviously past our best, Rob. But there's a huge crowd that stand around that, all wanting to have a go, and this great sort of community feeling of getting new people involved in sim racing and giving them their first real attempt here. As we look at the Fanatec wheels that the drivers are using on the main stage. 17 teams, as I said, so they've all got 2 drivers. They'll all be making that driver swap. We look at Useless Racing Team. There we go, a bit of a wave there from Lucas Kolb, driving for RRVGT. We're just trying to get these technical issues sorted for you. You can see the drivers all waiting. You can see the crowd that we've got. It's both grandstands, plenty of people in it. And you can see the room behind, absolutely full as you like. And we're going to have some good racing. I'm just going to run down very quickly the order of events for today. Obviously, we're getting a little bit off topic at the moment, as we can see our German commentators. I am not them, don't worry, it's not a desync issue. It's just one stream that we're all commentating on. So we're supposed to have started practice, we're supposed to have started qualifying 6 minutes ago, but unfortunately there's been a bit of a technical issue which we're not going to just yet. They'll sort that out as soon as possible. Rob just trying to sort that out. If Rob disappears off at any moment, that's because he is trying to run everything and commentate with me. Running everything has a bit of priority over talking to me all day. So then we should be doing qualifying. We should be doing the race 1 at 12:50 local time, which is in 4 minutes. Obviously not going to. They're still going to get their 10-minute qualifying session. It's an open session. They all get to take in. A bit of conversation there between Bent Banky, Yaroslav getting involved there on the camera. Jack Keevely and Bent Banky, they're having a conversation on the front row of the right-hand side of the stage. So 12:50. We'll do a 40-minute race around the Nürburgring. Then we'll have a little bit of a break. The stream will stop. It should be for half an hour, but obviously it won't be this time. We'll try and get back on schedule as we head into Zandvoort on the other stream. Obviously, all of this can be followed on the RaceRoom YouTube. Then we'll do qualifying, hopefully at 14:10. We'll see what happens at Zandvoort. And then the race starts at 14:20. Another 40-minute race will obviously take us up to 3 o'clock. At that point, we will be having a fairly large break. It's longer than half an hour. It should be about an hour and 10 minutes. And then we'll have the entrance for the final at 16:05. Do not miss it, because that'll be the one that decides who is going to walk home with that €1,500 prize pocket for winning the ADAC GT Masters Championship here. Of course, we've got so many decent teams, so many drivers that should be doing quite well. Florian Haase winning that championship. Does that make Florian Haase, Julian Kunze, who was second yesterday, so strong? Are they favourites, or is it Keithley?
It's hard to tell.
Well, I made note of one thing earlier, is that, so we're racing at 3 circuits that were all run in that GT Masters Championship. Winners from that, we had Jack Keithley, who won on 2 of the circuits.
He won 3 of them, actually.
He won, no, as in the 2 of the circuits that we've got.
Oh, yeah.
So he won at Nürburgring and I believe Zandvoort, leaving Kunze to take the top step at Most. So we've seen that those 2 teams, realistically, should be the 2 main ones, the main focus for who could be taking their prize today. We'll wait and see until they get into that qualifying session. And yes, oh no, sorry, it was Keithley that won at Most and Nürburgring, and it was Kunze who won at Zandvoort. But Kunze, second all day yesterday. He is alongside Florian Haase, who won that championship, as I said. As we brought up today, and many times over the weekend, yet to take a race win in official esports competition or on RaceRoom racing experience, has finished second or third a whopping 16 times. In fact, over the 7-round championship that we had for the ADAC GT Masters, online of course, he was second in 4 of them and third in a 5th. And then 4th in another one after that, I remember. So an incredible record there, but still 16 podiums without a win. Is today going to be that day? A lot of people, a lot of the pundits, a lot of people here think that this is the day that Florian Haase is going to take that first victory for RaceRoom, and it could potentially open up the floodgates for him. Teaming up, obviously, with Julian Kunze. They finished third in the Esports, the Endurance Team Challenge on the Friday, being overtaken by Jaroslav Honzik in the final lap of the race, just heading onto the Nordschleife. An incredible lineup there for that team, though, and potentially I think they could go 2 steps higher on the podium today. We can see the drivers all getting ready for that practice session, all throwing it around. We're moving into qualifying momentarily. Who is going to be on pole here?
Oh, it's hard to say, but I have a feeling that Martin Stefanko might be the one on pole here in the GT Omega Mercedes.
Yeah, of course, they have that Mercedes here, which realistically should be the better car around this circuit. To run you through some of the practice, they all had an hour and 10 minutes to practice prior. It was 20 minutes per circuit with hopefully a 10-minute sort of like little bit, just in case. They could swap over as many times as they wanted in practice, but they got 20 minutes on each circuit, which means realistically, if you split it evenly, 10 minutes per driver. Williams Team 1, that is, of course, the Chill Blast one. They ended up leading at the Nürburgring from the first Euronics car. Then was GT Omega. They were in third. All of them separated by only 1/10 of a second. So super, super close between that top lot. But GT Omega need to find a 10th to get ahead of the Williams and Euronics. Then we headed to Zandvoort, and Euronics led from Williams 2. Then from Williams 1. So that was Williams 2 being the Razor. I actually think it might have been, I think they might have got pipped towards the end of the session, and Shieldblast may have taken that position from Razor. So realistically, here we can see the drivers taking part. You can see that GT Omega in that Mercedes here. Stefanko, Ivanov, maybe not the strongest lineup, although Ivanov was looking pretty quick at Most, maybe bringing some of that back to the Nürburgring.
Yeah, but I think the driver who's doing the qualifying session there is Martin Stefanko.
Yeah.
The car we're watching now, that's the Euronics car. Florian Haase behind the wheel. not Julian Kunze. We're a little bit surprised by this decision, but nonetheless, he's heading onto his first time lap.
Yeah, Haase in the car qualifying twice. He's qualifying at Nürburgring and Zandvoort, and then Kunze will be taking over to qualify at third. A little bit of a gasp from me on the back row in the driver's briefing, trying to figure out what was going on as we watch him into turn one. Beautifully hooks up that first corner, and then into the Mercedes arena section. Obviously all running default setup. That must be stressed, these are all default setups they're running with these Fanatec wheels they've got. A little bit wide there, leaving the arena section, hooking right beautifully on the curb though. Pushing it wide, nice, good exit towards the hairpin.
Yeah, now you can see we drive the short layout, this corner often called Querspange. DTM uses it as well. Of course the GT Masters uses it as well. Florian Hasse coming out of here. Now the left-hander where you can go a little bit wide but not too wide over the curve, and now the Warsteiner curve.
Yeah, this one I actually found hardest. I did a little bit of practice around here just for a bit of fun. This is actually the corner that I found the hardest because the front end really wants to wash out. I'm not too sure about how it was in the Audi, but I tried it in the BMW, and the front end really went to wash out as we head up to the NGK chicane. We're using the fast layout, the S layout here. There's no real bollards on the inside, so we can really fling the cars in through here. Coming out towards Coca-Cola corner, the final one, a little bit too wide there on the brakes, but it's going to come back for a nice late apex. Euronics one, going to cross the line. Yeah,
look behind Euronics. Oscaro, I'm sorry. They caught up a lot and they are faster there.
Yeah.
Provisional pole position for Bunky, but Williams Esports immediately almost 4/10 faster.
Yeah,
that's Jack Keithley there.
Jack Keithley in the car, obviously Brzezinski in the Williams 2. So the Williams 1 obviously is the Chill Blast 1, Williams 2 being the Razor. Excellent laps for those to start out in the Audis. The Audi contingent really starting out strong. Euronics 2 qualified by Jaroslav Honzik down in 8th position. He was saying that he might struggle. We look at Martin Stefanko coming through the final section of the track. Currently down a bit in that GT Omega RPM. That's a bit of a surprise here, Rob.
Yeah, in the last sector Mercedes is really strong, and it could be up to P2 for Stefanko, GT Omega. And yes, there it is, P2 for Stefanko. Great result, but they need it here. They will have a Porsche at Zandvoort. Very difficult task for them. And Oscaro has a purple sector here. Oh, and they have got a bit of slipstream there from Florian Hasse.
Yeah, Oscaro Esports currently being qualified by Bent Banky. Vermont doing the next one, and then Banky afterwards. He's got a bit of slipstream coming up towards the NGK chicane, going to fling it through. Lost a bit of time in that sector, but still could potentially gain here in the final. Heads through that final corner, going to get a nice bit of slipstream once again, closing up. Is he going to cross on the line? What's he going to do? 5th, 2nd. There he goes. So he dropped down to 5th momentarily from the Euronics car, but Oscaro straight back up into 2nd position on the front row of the grid at the moment. GT Omega RPM. Oh, Team Hungary. Look at that. P3 for them.
Nice job there. Gargobaldi behind the wheel. Strong pairing together with David Notch, who was very fast in the races on Friday. Very fast on the Nordschleife.
Yeah, Notch, of course, not here yesterday. Returns today, putting in potentially he could be putting in some decent results. When is Notch? Notch is qualifying for the final one at Most. We look at Euronics 2, this one driven by Jaroslav Honzik, currently in 8th position. I'm sure actually he would be pretty happy with that at the moment. 6/10 off a pole, it's super close to the top. Quarter of a second qualifying the top 5 cars. 2,000 separate, oh actually 4,000, sorry, separating 3rd to 5th. Incredibly close here at the top.
Yes, and Euronics 2 here with Jaroslav Honzik. They're maybe a little bit out of position at the moment in P8, behind Fida Ragnar. And Fida Ragnar, certainly one of the teams who were a positive surprise of this event. Konrad Zareviak super quick yesterday.
Heads through the NGK chicane quite nicely. It looks a little bit slow to me. Runs up towards the line, obviously quite far down on this lap. Not going to be improving.
Oh, Euronics into 2nd.
Yeah, for sure, up to 2nd. But Williams 1 improved. Williams Chill Blast improves to a 22.676. Euronics 1 got up to 2nd position, but unfortunately not quite onto pole. Just as they close that gap, Williams 1 responds. That is Jack Keithley behind the wheel. We ride up with GT Omega. Martin Stefanko comes through the 1st sector, improving. Comes through the 2nd sector as we run up towards the NGK chicane. What is he going to be doing in this one? Improving as well. Considering how fast that AMG is through the final sector, this could be a very good lap for GT Omega.
This could be pole if he nails the final corner. Chicane looked very solid. Very early apex here. I'm not sure if that's the fastest line.
They will get arms too wide. That's the thing. He's going to push off. I don't think it's going to be an improvement at all. Comes up to the line. No, he doesn't. A good lap time nonetheless, but not good enough. Comes down towards the first corner again.
See the BMW ahead there. Of course, we also have a Porsche here in the race. Two of them actually. 3BV Racing, that's Benedek and Vela. I think Vela at the wheel at the moment. No, it's Benedek. Benedek doing the qualifying session, Vela doing the other two. And then we've got quite a story. The last minute racing team. The name there. That's, you know, that also has a meaning because they sign up here at the last minute. Niklas Benfeld found Paul Piszkowski as a teammate.
Yeah, Piszkowski's doing a decent job. Obviously, they came into this, as they said, that as their name does state, they came into it quite last minute. I think that's why they've called it that. A solid driver lineup here, but potentially not one that we can see up towards the front. Who was that improved? I believe that was Ascaro. Or was it Williams too? Yeah, up to 4th position. ACR improved to weight, dropping Euronics 2 down to 9th position as well. Things closing up more and more. Half a second separates your top 8. We look at Williams 2, currently piloted by Kuba Brzezinski. Wondering what kind of strategies they're going to be running. These two, I've said before, two are potentially the most equal drivers. We look at Brzezinski, currently on the stage. Two very, very equal drivers. Two drivers that have been in teams in sim racing together quite consistently over the last 4 or 5 years. Is this sort of an underdog lineup for you, or are they quite a strong one?
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're the favorites because there's this, the first Williams team, Euronics. They definitely have to be considered the favorites. Speaking of underdog teams, all of them here.
Literal underdog Matzik behind the wheel there, obviously still struggling with his arms. Had to miss out yesterday, unfortunately. But he said he wanted to take yesterday out, rest his arms, get himself prepared for today. Struggling a little bit down in 13th position, but all things considered, not a bad effort.
Qualifying session not over yet. We've got a couple of cars on green sectors. Green sector, that means personal best and GT Omega RPM. They're the first ones here.
Nearly a little bit too wide there, onto the back straight. Goes through the corner. Up towards the education, getting a bit of traffic up ahead. Currently in 6th position, losing time in that middle sector. Of course, they can finish this lap, but they will not get another one because once that timer ticks down, we'll move over into the race. They aren't allowed to go and get fresh tyres. The tyres they start the session on, the ones they have to do, we see a spinner out. That was one of the Callaways. That was the Meeting Europe team.
Oh, P5, the jump of Team Hungary.
Yeah.
Performance there, and Euronics, they are on the green sector and they've got the slipstream from Ascaro.
But are they too far back? No, I think they'll be able to complete this lap. It'll be very tight, but I think they'll just about do it. Getting that slipstream, running down the hill. Obviously, Ascaro was using the slipstream earlier on them. They've said, no, let's reverse this, my friend. Euronics, we're going to take that slipstream from you this time. Decent through the first sector, decent through the second sector. They're going to be closing up here on Jack Keithley. We see the timer come up. But the session is still going. We've still got 20 seconds. They're definitely going to finish this lap. Comes around the final corner. Can Euronics 1, currently driven by Haase, can that get onto pole position? Our series champion. We look at Jack Keithley currently sitting on pole. I don't think there was an improvement there.
No, there was no improvement. So that means Jack Keithley takes the first pole position here of the event. Congratulations to the Englishman. They've got confirmation and he's happy about it. He knows it. Fantastic job by Jack Keithley. Don't get confused by the screen here. We don't have a race winner just yet. But Keithley starting off strong for Williams. Then Euronics, then Ascaro. Williams 2 and GT Omega probably a little bit disappointed with this position. P5 in the strong Mercedes. Ahead of Team Hungary. Fida Ragnar very strong once again. P7. ACR, Euronics. And then rounding out the top 10, GTR3, LHC, the French-Swiss team. And Lars Baumler behind the wheel.
We're going to get a very interesting race ahead of us, and that pit stop, that crucial pit stop in the middle of the race could decide who is going to be taking the first win of the day. Of course, 3 races today. Once again, do not forget, if you do leave the stream after the first race, which we will, do not forget to come back 20 minutes later. We'll be riding around Zandvoort, trying to race around there. pushing the cars to the limit, seeing who's going to be taking that second race win. I think that race could be very decisive. We look at the drivers on the grid. Williams, Esports, Chill Blast currently on pole position, getting a start. A lot of wheel spin on the rear end there, trying to cover it off, but I don't think they've... Oh, sorry, that was Euronics there. Getting covered off by Williams on the run down towards turn 1. We can see that AMG on the outside trying to make a decent amount of progress. Currently trying to go up into third position. Euronics going around the outside. I don't think it's going to work. Williams just holding on. We've got Scaro Esports going side by side up towards turn 2 in the Mercedes Arena section. Not quite making anything stick. Euronics managed to hold on to second position. The Mercedes did not make any progress either. In fact, they're going to be losing a position here as Peter Ragnar simulating trying to get under attack, and they get through. Wow, wow. Mercedes dropping down the order. We expect this GT Omega RPM to be doing very, very well here.
Oh,
now
that's another one.
Again, Team Hungary. That's Gergo Bowdy getting by as well. Oh, wow, he cannot get into the rhythm. Jaroslav Onzik, the next car to try and pass him. Martin Stefanko struggling here.
But it was a very clean start. All cars still running. No one was in an incident. And Jack Keithley, he's still leading the race. The Englishman for Williams Esports.
Yeah, did a superb job on the start. Of course, oh, we see a Porsche off nearly in the background. That Porsche made a good start, 3BV racing up to 11th, I can see. Williams, though, heading through the final section.
Oh,
absolutely
Banky.
Under pressure. Oh, wow, yeah, nearly lost it there, coming out of the NGK chicane. Williams won, though. Chill Blast comes across the line to lead the first lap of the day. Jack Keithley, after a disappointing qualifying yesterday in the first event, which really got him off to a bad start, potentially could be doing very well. We see Scaro Esports defending down towards turn 1, but look at this in the background. Peter Ragnar makes contact with Kuba Brzezinski there. Wow, his old team making a bit of contact there with him. Wow.
Brave move there from Konrad Zareviak, who wants to move up the order here. Euronics 2, meanwhile, moved up into 8th position. That's what they need here, a good result. So you see a position change here. 3BV Racing in the fastest of the Porsche. Just moving past Useless Racing.
Whoa! Pushed him off straight onto the grass, goes Useless Racing. 3BV though, they were looking pretty good earlier. They were up to 11th position, have dropped down into 13th. Trying to make decent progress back up the field. You can see the Callaway and the M6 in the background as well. We've got some of our weaker cars back here. Useless Racing struggling a little bit in the Audi though. As he gets passed there by the other Porsche, last minute racing. Coming in, as you say, at the last minute, I think Useless are going to drop behind Pete Europe as well. Back up towards the front, we see Stefanko here, right over the back of Williams, Peter Ragnar. Oh, sorry, yeah,
that's Team Hungary.
I can read. Team Hungary, they're following Peter Ragnar, all very close in this. I can see that Williams 2 just slightly pulling away. GT Omega there in 7th position. Not where they want to be after this start. Looking for an attack then into T1. No, not quite going to work. Team Hungary, Gergo Bowden covers off. Jaroslav Ontik's got to be happy with this one. In that M6, he said he was going to struggle in this at the moment, but doing quite a good job.
A little bit of contact here. Ballas Racing Team there, dropping back to last position. Useless Racing Team have also been passed by a Meeting Europe car of Karel Vega. Side by side once again.
Carpentiero on board with this car.
Kiro looking there against Jonas Riedel. There we've got Camille Carpentiero on the screen in a pink shirt but in the white car.
Yeah. He didn't get to drive on the Friday in that race, unfortunately due to a simulator crash. But trying to get some experience in the car today. Obviously didn't drive yesterday. Alongside Panabianco, who's driven on both days. So his more experienced teammate allowing his teammate and friend to drive that little bit more. We see Peter Ragnar here, currently driven by Zareviak. Currently up towards the NGK chicane. A little bit of pressure here from Team Hungary's Gergo Bowdy as they run towards the final corner. Dropping a little bit. Wow, what a late move that is for Gergo Bowdy. Trying to be aggressive, trying to make his way back up the order after a terrible final race yesterday. But that's cost him down the straight. I don't think it's going to open him up to the AMG behind, but potentially he's not going to be able to get past the Peter Ragnar up ahead.
Awesome vicious move there from Gergo Bowdy. Not quite enough. You can see the pressure there on Konrad Zareviak.
Trying to remain as focused as he can. Gergo Bowdy, extremely experienced either on RaceRoom or in sim racing in general, has been in it for a very long time and has been very, very quick for a very long time. massive oversteer though, leaving the Mercedes arena section, clipped the curb a little bit too much as well, and that pushed the front end of the car well out wide. Peter Ragnar taking a little bit of a sigh of relief, just trying to build that. They're also, speaking of this, I can see it on my screen, Peter Ragnar right on the back of Williams too, as well. So the Williams Razor, there is a little bit of a gap there, as I think they've just sort of spread out a little bit. But they're staying with Kuba Brzezinski. He's not really pulling away, dropping a little bit back off of the Ascaro Esports car of Vince Banky.
Oh, look at
lovely
these socks.
Lovely, lovely socks there for Kuba Brzezinski. One who took part in the event back in the Nürburgring.
I think Baldi will go for a move once again here.
Yeah, sure.
Very close to Zerebiak in the same car, and Zerebiak is covering the inside here. Baldi has to take the outside.
He's
Goes for the switchback. Not quite working yet.
But he could go for a cutback. We saw this many times in the endurance race, the cutback working to perfection there. It's not quite going to work for Gogo Bounty this time. Zerebiak pulling up a perfect defensive move there into turn 1 and trying to push. Gogo down the inside, not quite. Trying to push Gogo back into the clutches of the AMG. Gogo's going to go for a bit of a cutback here and try and make a move into the hairpin. I think he's going to be close enough, but he's not going to get to the inside, is he? Yes, he is. Gogo Bounty here, potentially up into 5th position. Can Zerebiak hold it around the outside? No, I think he cannot. Going to try and get pushed out here by Gogo Bounty. Gogo Bounty up into 5th position. More contact between the two. I think Zerebiak there now under pressure from Martin Stefanko in the GT Omega RPM. More contact. Oh, Stefanko should be up ahead here, surely, as they head through the right-hander up towards the NGK chicane.
Yeah, a bit more power on the Mercedes there, and 1 position gain for Stefanko. That's what he needed, but on the braking, look at the Audi there. Oh, Stefanko, that was not a good line through the NGK chicane. Under pressure once again by Zerebiak, but he can't make the move stick there.
But he takes that early apex again. We saw that in qualifying, not quite working for Stefanko. It pushed him out a little bit too far wide. We look a bit further back in the pack as we see Useless Racing fighting last minute racing. The two going real toe-to-toe here towards the back end of the field. Nothing quite working there, but almost side by side through the NGK chicane. A bit defensive running down towards turn 1. Anything going to happen? Potentially not. That Porsche not quite quick enough in the slipstream. We see the branding of the Useless Racing team. One thing I definitely not useless at is graphic design, because some of that stuff looks actually really quite good. They're doing a fairly decent job here at the moment in 14th position. The strength of field of here is really, really strong.
Yes, and I think meeting Europe, they ran into a little bit of trouble as they dropped 11 seconds behind Ballas Racing Team, so maybe a little spin there for Karel Vega.
Yeah.
Currently rounding out the field here, but at the front of the field is this man, Jack Keithley for Williams 1, but Florian Hasse can stay with him pretty well. And it will be interesting because we will have a driver swap here. We will have 1 pit stop for each team, and it's Kunze coming into the car for Euronics, and it's Löhner coming into the car for Williams. And no offense to Löhner, but I would kind of suspect that Kunze is maybe the faster driver out of the two.
I was going to say, we look at Jack Keithley here. I would absolutely agree with you. Kunze, who obviously won a race in the ADAC GT Masters Online Championship, coming into this quite strong, was second yesterday. A very, very strong driver. He said to me after the race, we had a good chat with a lot of the drivers after the race, and Kunze said that he wasn't aggressive enough. GT Omega here with Team Hungary. Oh, once again, the racing's trying to get on. I see GT Omega there. Just trying to get past. They obviously got past Peter Ragnar on the previous lap, running out onto the back straight, trying to get past Gogo Bounty straight away. Not quite working for him. Driving in shoes, interestingly enough. That is Stefanko. Obviously, most drivers tend to drive in socks. That's what they drive at home, isn't it?
So when I drove the simulator at my first event, back when I was still driving in the competitions, I actually used 1 shoe for the brake foot, and I use socks for the throttle, because on the brake you have to push kind of hard. Yeah.
And after an hour's racing or so, even 20 minutes in this case, your left foot is going to start to hurt a little bit after that. We watched Stefanko a little bit under pressure from Ragnar. Zerebiak trying to get back that position that he lost. We can see Jaroslav Honzik just dropping back into the clutches of ACR.
Oh, big moment!
Oh, he's going to go straight onto the final corner. Can he get back into 9th position? Oh no, Stefanko! This was the race they needed to do well. Stefanko making that mistake. Another mistake there, leaving Coca-Cola. He is not happy at that. Is Stefanko. We look at Ascaro Esports. Ben Tabanki behind this one. Going to be handing over to Alexander Vermont. Slightly later, Williams, Razor directly behind. Cooper Brzezinski obviously behind that car. Nikolai Wisniewski will take over that stop at the pit stop. The pit window, though, is now open. We are 10 minutes into the race. The pit window is open between the half an hour to go and 10 minutes to go point. They can pit any moment. We see Ben Tabanki here.
And I think Underdog Racing are already preparing their driver swap.
Well, Matsick starts obviously with his wrist issues. Johannes Weiss, super aggressive on the start of the endurance race on Friday. Got up into third position from fifth. A fantastic move in turn one in between two cars. Brilliant, brilliant stuff. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. Fantastic move. So we'll see Underdog go into the pit lane. They're in 12th position at the moment, so we'll see them in this lap. Johannes Weiss to take over, or potentially the next couple of laps. Currently staying with Ascaro. Look at the pressure that he is under from Cooper Brzezinski, though. My goodness me. Ben Tabanki, I was saying this the other day, comes across as a really nice guy in person, but make no mistake, an aggressive guy. He wants to make that move whenever he can. We see Underdog here.
Yeah, Underdog coming into the pits, first team to pits. Johannes Weiss, they're lining up next to Philip Matsick.
Could be a good move here.
Yeah, it could be a good move. Johannes Weiss extremely quick on these simulators. So we're just going to jump to a little bit of a battle further ahead. ACR, they've caught up with Euronics. They caught up with Jaroslav Honzik.
Yeah. I think it's Bristow Cabot behind the wheel of the ACR, going to be handing over to Alan Pinches when they come into the stop. These two pretty decent drivers did a good job, obviously. After Schaefer put him in a really, really good spot too. These two secured the victory for ACR in the Friday event, that was. Jaroslav Honzik, the man who finished second in that after making an overtake on Florian, on the Euronics guy, I believe it was on Florian Arsa, in the latter part of that race. We look at Risto Kappa here, directly alongside his old team, Fina Ragnar.
And we heard that Team Hungary is also going to come into the pit soon. Maybe this lap, maybe on the next one.
They've got to be confident in David Nodge's pace then to have that swap, because let's be real, Gogo Bowdy, one of the fastest drivers we know, and you're wanting to take him out of the car this early. I believe Bowdy is qualifying, Bowdy is qualifying the next two races, he's qualifying this one and the next race. So qualifying twice. We see ACR trying to attack the BMW here, running down towards turn one. Risto Capit trying to stay very cool and calm and collected, going to the outside here of the BMW. Look at him licking his lips, potentially at the prospect of going around the outside, coming into turn two. Wow, Risto Kappa showing his overtaking potential. Jaroslav Honzik trying to respond immediately, not quite working. Jaroslav Honzik down to 8th position in that BMW. What a move from Risto Kappa.
Fantastic job there, Risto Kappa. Moving up, using the brakes of the Audi, the advantage here. BMW very weak on the braking, strong in the straight line. Also good downforce, but maybe here in the first sector a little bit weaker than the Audi, and Capet up into P7. And Francesco Panebianco is also going to come into the race now, as well as Alexandre Romand, so Ascaro might be pitting early as well.
Yeah, Ascaro currently in third position. We see them here. Ben Tabanki behind the wheel, coming under attack. Team Hungary as well, closing up on this. We heard that Team Hungary wants to come in quite soon, not quite this lap for Gogo Bowdy, but look at this trio. Super close here for the final spot on the podium.
Oh, and there's the last minute car coming out of the pits just in front of the leaders. Romand lining up there, one more lap, I think.
A little bit of communication there. We see the last.
Niklas Benfeld, it's a very unfortunate place. Keithley goes through.
So close, pulls off to the other side, lets the Euronics one car go. Florian Arsen behind that at the moment. Ben Tabanki, the next car behind. Hopefully last minute see them before they come into the pit lane. Williams too, we're not expecting into the pit lane straight away. We're expecting a driver change as well for Euronics 1. Kunze going to be taking over from Florian Arsen quite soon. 25 minutes to go in this race. Driver swaps, that stage, as I said, going to become very, very busy and potentially very, very distracting for a lot of these drivers. We see Team Hungary here. Gogo Bowdy behind the wheel. There's David Nosh ready to take over. Not quite on the stage yet, so I don't think it's happening this lap.
Yeah, maybe he just registered the swap and is just waiting now.
Are they waiting for the 20-minute mark? Not quite sure. Yeah, you see Fida Ragnar in the background dropping off of this, but pulled away massively from ACR. We look back at GT Omega trying to make a bit of a recovery. Have been overtaken as well by the... Oh no, they got overtaken in that instant as well by GTR3 LHC up towards the edge chicane. Wow, that's going to be aggressive. Martin Stefanko not happy about the instant that happened into this corner. Nearly makes the same mistake onto the curb on the outside, but currently being responded is GTR3 straight down the inside of the final corner. But I think the grunt of the Mercedes going to give them the advantage on the run down towards turn 1. Yes, it does. Stefanko needing to make a bit of progress here, trying to respond as quickly as he can to that mistake he made. Ivanov to be taking over the car a bit later in the race. Not the best start, not the best decision for Ivanov to be taken over, especially when they're in that strong car.
Yeah, that's true, but now they moved up a little bit and Oscaro's in the pits. Oscaro are swapping drivers, first of the top teams in the pit lane here. We also had last minute Ballas Racing and of course Underdog already in the pits. So now the strategy becomes really crucial.
Yeah, you can see indicated on the right hand side there of the lap time that if it's red, that means they have not pitted. If it's green, that means they have completed their pit stop. Oscaro allowing Vermont to take over that car.
You can see Kunz and Löhner there waiting for their stint, sitting right next to each other. Teams in first place and second place at the moment.
Jack Keithley though not responding, not coming down pit lane, but look at that in the background, Euronics into the pit lane. Julian Kunz are going to take over the car straight away. Lerner saying pit this lap, pit this lap.
Team Hungary in the background into the pit lane as well. Oh, and I'm not sure what happened there to Williams. I think they're in lap traffic. They're behind Ballas Racing.
Oh no. Dropping off massively here is Kuba Brzezinski. We've not had word. Nikodem is going to be taking over very shortly. He's ready to take over that Williams Razor car. The order's going to get a bit crazy here as we wait for all of them to be leaving the pit lane and wait for all of them to get themselves into their position. We look at Oscaro Esports here, Alexander Ramont behind the wheel of that car. A lot of respect there, even between the drivers getting out. Obviously, Florian Haasler there saying good luck to Lerner, who's going to be climbing into that car. Two rival teams there. But that's the joy of having it in sim racing, having it in person, is there is that respect and that, you know, wanting everyone to be having a good race more than anything else.
And we can see now the undercut from Oscaro. Does it work? Where are they going to come out? And I think they're behind Team Hungary. That's Team Hungary. It's going to work for Oscaro, but they didn't gain a lot of time.
No, they did not. Not quite as much. There's Ramon. This is the thing though, you're getting a driver into the car, a fresh driver. If you're picking fresh tyres, the undercut does work, of course, because you just get into the car, you know where the grip is at. However, when you change drivers, that driver then also has to spend a lap learning where the grip is and how to improve and how to go quick. Of course, these drivers doing practice. We see the driver swap here for Williams Chill Blast. Lerner now into the car. You've got to give Lerner, for example, a lap or two to get into progress. That's why maybe they've gone for the overcut to try and build a bit more of a gap for Lerner over Julian Kunze. We see Adam Pinches in the background there going up to take the car off of Risto Capet.
Good stint by Jack Keithley, made no mistakes whatsoever. And now we will see where they come out. Julian Kunze now in the car for Euronics. And one thing about Julian Kunze is that he's always fast, straight out of the box. We've seen the practice sessions throughout all day yesterday. Also today, he was always one of the fastest when they set their first laps.
Yeah, there's communication there between the Euronics driver and the Williams Esports Chill Blast driver. Running down towards turn 1. What is going to be happening here? Euronics, are they going to overtake? Is this something not going to work? I don't think it is. I think Williams won well out of the pit lane and have made the overcut work. Oh, there he is. So there's about a second and a half, 2 seconds, 3 seconds even between them. So I think they've actually pulled out over that stint. Euronics 2 also came into the pit lane. Jaroslav Honzik out of the car, handing over to Rakel as well. We look there, you can see Vermont in the background, you see Lerner in the foreground. Realistically, we're thinking net lead here, of course, for Lerner. We don't expect anyone to undercut that or overcut that massively. But we've said this before, Kunze, the stronger driver between the two of these. As we see Euronics 2 trying to get back past Meeting Europe. Meeting Europe
That's a
obviously
fight
not
for
started.
positions.
Yeah, not started though, not stopped rather, has Meeting Europe.
I think Williams is in the pit lane now as well. Also, Feeder Ragnar
Yeah.
Simulator as GT Omega RPM has taken the provisional lead of the race here.
ACR also into the pit lane.
Michael Rechel now in the car for Euronics. In the second team there.
Yeah, Yaroslav Honzik starting that race, Rake dropping that one. He's currently doing quite a decent job in that BMW. Needs to get some decent progress. Didn't get stuck behind that Corvette of the Meeting Europe team too drastically as we run onto the start-finish straight. We can see Team Hungary.
And we should see Team Williams Razor coming out of the pits. There they are.
There they are. Oh, it's going to be close in turn one. There's going to be some side-by-side action. Kuba Brzezinski. Oh, sorry, he's making a bit of contact there. Oh, no. Team Hungary making a little bit of contact there with the Oscaro Esports.
Ultramar sideways there over the grass.
There's
And Wisniewski, I mean, there's no time to get used to this wheel here.
No.
Yeah, it has to go straight into the fight. And a lot of pressure by Alex Ramon.
Excellent start for him though, because he's obviously taken over this one. Has gone from 4th position, now up into, realistically, we're thinking 3rd position. So making a decent job at the start here is Nikodem Wisniewski. At one point, I did a race around Le Mans in the wet against Nikodem Wisniewski, and at one point he was 10 seconds lap quicker than me, which was really embarrassing. But it shows that no matter the conditions, i.e. getting in the car straight away, he can really get the car up to speed almost straight away. We're thinking 3rd overall. Again, this battle for the podium between this trio of Audis continues to rage. Through the NGK chicane once again. And then into the final corner. Look at how ominous that Oscaro racing car of Alexander Ramon is. Bit of movement here. We see Schneider getting ready to take over from Lucas Kolb and the RRVGT team.
Oh, very close on the outside now, David Notch. And that could work! Ramon squeezing him there.
Yeah, Ramon, a very aggressive driver here. Just pushes Notch out there a little bit in turn 1. Not quite making anything stick. Notch again looking down the inside, nothing quite working here. Hooking the curb beautifully, trying to get a good run down to the hairpin. Nothing quite working here. The trio stay very close, but no movement thus far. Currently, the order of this 3, Williams Razor from Euronics 1.
Oh,
Look at this
Pinches.
ACR. Adam Pinches in that car, attacking hard with Feeder Ragnar.
I think it's Indica now in the car for Feeder Ragnar there. And you can see Adam Pinches, he won the race on Friday.
Very
He won
good
the
driver.
endurance race. And also in the foreground there, Team Hungary putting a lot of pressure on Oscaro. And they actually crashed in the race on Friday on the Nordschleife.
Oscaro?
Yeah.
So it was the other way round. Oh wow, Notch all over the back of it. Yeah, it was the other way round. Team Hungary were in front, and then Oscaro just clipped the back of him. I unfortunately failed to remember. I believe it might have been Fremont in that car.
Yeah, it was
Notch
Fremont.
in that car.
Yeah. Oh, and he's attacking again, but Fremont's covering the inside.
Yeah, look, I was sorry, Zoltan Shiti, I remember now. He was in the Team Hungary car at the time. Going for the undercut here in turn 1, not quite going to work because he's going to try it again in turn 2 into the Mercedes arena section. We see Notch here. This is allowing the man to his right hand side, Nikodem Wisniewski, to pull away. Team Hungary all over the back of the Oscaro Esports car of Alexander Ramon. You can see him fighting the wheel there as we look to the vision that David Notch sees. He is determined to pass that Audi as quick as possible, but it's not quite working out. Nikodem Wisniewski pulling away from this lot, a massive 5-6 seconds up to the Euronics 1 car, massively up the road. Look at the fight in the wheel, trying to find the understeer as well. We look back, GT Omega currently in the lead of the race. Obviously Stefanko still behind the wheel. Roman Ivanov will be taking over that car momentarily. Here's the second team, RRVGT. We did see Schneider getting ready to take over the car from Lucas Kolb, who got into yesterday's event with Lucas Kolb using the qualifiers that we have as well. So showing some immense pace in a live event such as this.
Oh, contact there,
between
Pinches.
ACR and Feeder Ragnar. into the final corner. This is allowing, not Jaroslav Honzik, because he's out of the car. It's right, yeah, he's in the car at the moment. Side by side coming down the straight. Peter Ragnar potentially going to be dropping a position here to Adam Pinches. I think this might work. You see Ivanov there on the inside with the very colourful hair. They're going to be side by side. Is Pinches going to push him out wide? No, he's not. Peter Ragnar going to hold on to 8th position here into the arena section. Trying to hang it around the outside. Unfortunately, it's not going to work. Turn 2 slightly too long. Instantly down the inside though. Oh, wow. Adam Pinches super aggressive here. Going to go for a comeback and get into the hairpin. I think this one might work. And allow Adam Pinches in that ACR car as we ride on board with Euronics 2. Reichel driving this one, a bit of contact into the hairpin. Reichel trying to take full advantage here. Not quite making anything stick. ACR though, past Peter Ragnar and up into 8th position, although things might be 6th as GT Omega RPM into the pit lane.
And here the battle continues as well between Hungary and Oscaro, and it's super close. Notch now has the outside, he could try to make a move here.
Oh, too close.
Too close, cuts a little bit over the grass there, and Romain is under lots of pressure, has to defend again into the final corner.
Team Hungary surmounting as much pressure as they can as GT Omega into the pit lane, to the positions once again, flip-flop all over the place. Team Hungary though.
Oh, he's got the inside.
That is it, he's down the inside here. We've seen this though, the Audi can go around the outside, a little bit of contact there between Fremont and Noj. Coming through turn 1, Noj, Fremont going for the undercut. Could work brilliantly. On
oh, contact again, Fremont.
Oh, wow, Noj round, no. He's saying no. Oh, no. You can see Noj not impressed with that contact between Fremont there at turn 1. I'm pretty sure he's going to be sitting there thinking, I'm going to report that later. And we'll see what Gail can say about that. Not too sure myself, won't judge that one until we have official confirmation. But Team Hungary, a little bit of contact there with the Oscaro once again over the weekend. 6th position there. Will be 5th overall, I believe, once VRS come into the pit, or VGT come into the pit lane.
There
we are. Schneider taking over the car. Lucas Kolb out of it. Bit of good luck to him. I saw a bit of earplugs there in Schneider's car. Obviously, super loud here.
And I think we've got a battle for the victory coming up. Moritz Löhner getting under immense pressure now by Julian Kunze.
Yeah, we said Kunze is going to be the stronger of the two here. An incredibly fast driver, super consistent. But he did say, again, to both of us, he wasn't aggressive enough yesterday. And he couldn't take that fight to Heinemann because he said he had plenty of opportunities to, but never did. Because he just didn't want to throw it down the inside carelessly. Is there going to be a change of heart today? I think not. I think that's in his character. We look at Lerner here, trying to look as cool as he can, but under a huge amount of pressure from a driver as consistent, as quick, as relentless as Kunze, who's going to be piling on the pressure and hoping for a mistake to make an easy overtake in the latter stint of this race.
I'm not sure where Kunze is going to try it. I could suspect that he will try it into the final corner. That's one of the classic Kunze overtaking opportunities. He passed me in that corner a while ago.
Potentially turn 1 as well if he gets there. Is Kunze. Obviously these two side by side on the main stage. All the way over to the right hand side of the stage, the left hand side as you look at it, all the way over that side on the front row for all of our fans to look at. We can see, there we are, looking across the two of them. Kunze looking down the inside, but Williams just taking that late apex there. Lerner got a good run out of the final corner. 11 minutes to go in this race. Can this man do anything about it? Oh wow, what a fantastic start to the race. We saw a brilliant race one yesterday.
Yeah.
We've had some brilliant races over the weekend, of course 5 of them, all of them streamed live here at the event and live over the internet as well. Oh wow, so close, so close. Williams though, Williams Chill Blast, just holding on at the moment. The thing is, if you take victory here, this is what gives you the momentum into the next round, into the next 2 races in fact. These two both taking an Audi in all 3 races, and same with Williams Rater as well, directly behind. All taking the Audi, and we see our final pit stop beating Europe into the pit lane just for the final time. 10 minutes to go in this race, so just within that window. I could not tell you who is going to win this race, Rob, but I think we're going to have an exciting finish. Could it come down to the last lap? Lerner is not a weak driver. He's one that knows how to defend and knows how to race. We ride on board with Lerner, looking backwards. Look at that. Kunze trying to get a good run from the final corner, picking up that late apex, all the way over to the limit of the circuit, running down towards turn 1. Not close enough though, unless he wants a ridiculous dive. Within quarter of a second here. Nothing quite. You can see all of those spots in all of their glory though on the ADAC GT Masters Audi behind us. Hooks up that apex. Of course, we are in the centre of the car here on the rear, so if it looks like he's missing apexes, he probably is, and Lerner's a little bit better than that. As we leave the arena section towards the hairpin.
Actually very strong here from Lerner in the sector. Also struggling to stay behind. And actually GT Omega, their long first stint strategy has kind of worked out, because they've jumped Vida Ragnar at the pit stops and they're back into P8.
Yeah, of course not the position they wanted to be in. They want to be a little bit higher than that at this point in the race, taking that Mercedes, but not quite. We look back down the order, we look at the Porsche 3BB Racing, who are all over the back of GTR3 LHC. Probably the closest fight on track. It can the Porsche, which we've all said is pretty much the worst car here. They're on that default setup. Can he make a move and up into 12th position? Oh, very wide there, leaving the arena. Comes down into the hairpin. Obviously not close enough yet. Look back towards the lead. This is super close. 2/10 closer than it was last time. This is Kunze's best effort so far on the run down to turn 1. We see the Lerner going defensive on the inside. Kunze now tries to break as late as he can. Goes around the outside. Is he going to take the lead? I don't think he is, but he's going to be on the inside for turn 2. This could be it for Kunze. I think it is, into the Mercedes arena section. Julian Kunze puts Euronics on top. Fantastic work here. We're going to hold it off out of the arena. So
mistake!
And then contact between the two. Lerner not quite making the most of that though. A mistake there. Not quite taking advantage of. Kunze doesn't even look like he cares.
Oh, another mistake.
Another mistake there into the hairpin. He may not look like he cares, but damn if you do, he definitely does.
And he's completely taken Lerner by surprise there. Lerner did not expect this late breaking point from Julian Kunze, but he made it work beautifully. And now Kunze in the lead, and Lerner on the gravel.
I said that corner is so difficult. It's easy to run wide. That has given the gap to Kunze that Kunze needed. Euronics Gaming 1 on top of Williams here. 2 Williams on the podium. We've got the Williams Chill Blast currently leading that duo. Razor in 3rd position. A fantastic effort here. We said that Kunze was going to put in a masterful stint, and he has absolutely done so. A bit of a mistake there, leading the final corner, trying to break that slipstream as well, trying to stay as cool as he can. I've seen that Nikodem Wisniewski is closing up a little bit. Florian Haase, oh, that is absolutely right. I totally forgot about that. Oh, this could be the day that Florian Haase is going to have that victory in an official race. 16 podiums to his name. If Kunze takes podium here, Florian Haase is well in that car. He'll be jumping for joy out there. That'll be a great interview if we can get them. We'll try and get that as we see Underdog here trying to fight with Vida Ragnar. Vida Ragnar struggling a little bit in the second stint of the race. Underdog currently driven by Hannes Weiss, obviously setting that fantastic first stint yesterday. The car has been struggling a little bit with Matsik and his injuries. But still, running in the top 10, a fantastic effort from the pair.
Yeah, and he looks a little bit faster than Radoslav Indika at the moment. Polish driver there in P9 in the green Audi. Remains to be seen where he can make the move. It's always kind of difficult when you have both the same cars there. No advantages or disadvantages, and they are focused as always, Johannes Weiss. I still remember yesterday when he was moving around in the seat back and forward. You know,
trying to get as much as he can. If you, I said yesterday, if you put your head behind the wheel, it's worth 2 or 3 tenths. Staying pretty cool though, Johannes. There you go. Bit of a thumbs up to the camera. Trying to attack as hard as he can for the Underdog team. We look back towards the front. Euronics 1 trying to pull away here, not too big a gap, but Julian Kunze is very, very good in his tyres, and we'll be keeping that in his head, so almost like the Alain Prost that we have here, who doesn't care if he wins by, well, win by the smallest margin, effectively. It doesn't matter how small it is, as long as he's won, absolutely happy.
You can see our German colleagues Thomas Bienert and Sebastian Gerhardt. They're commentating here for the audience live. And also on the Facebook and Twitch stream. If you're from Germany, you can follow them as well.
Had a conversation with Thomas and Sebastian prior to. We had an interview out there in front of the main stage. A nice, good conversational thing. We were going through who we were thinking was going to be doing well here. The rulebook. Maybe a little bit thrown out the window with Kunze taking that victory. We said that Keithley was in a very strong position with that team with Williams 1 alongside Wiesenmueller. We look back at Fida Ragnar. Simulators under heavy pressure here from Johannes Weiss for underdog. Not quite making anything stick at the moment. You say it's very hard to overtake. Not only are we driving around a circuit, which it is hard to overtake at, a lot of medium speed corners means it's almost impossible to overtake. Both in the same car though, so slipstream just not really working here. Up the hill towards the NGK, not quite close enough, I think. There is Indika. Trying to stay as cool as he can. Alongside Adam Pinches next to him, who is a couple of cars down the road. Fida Ragnar, this could potentially be the best move here for underdog. They're going to go to the outside. We have seen this work so many times for the Audi. Is it going to work here for Johannes? He breaks a little bit early trying to go for the undercut. But look at that defensive drive from Fida Ragnar. Indika doing a brilliant job there, holding it to the apex, not allowing the car to run wide, covering it off, but down the inside here to the Mercedes arena section. Johannes remaining aggressive. We have seen this throughout the weekend. Doing a good job to try and get up the inside.
Oh, he almost
too much
oversteer there.
Too much oversteer. Did not leave the corner quickly there. Running into the hairpin, looks down the inside, nothing quite sticking. Indika defends a little bit late, hooks it back to the apex, and lives to fight another day. There he is. There's Johannes Weiss. Only a couple of seats away from him. Good racing here.
Oh, and I think Team Hungary is catching back up to Romand. A little bit further back, we will jump to them in a second.
Yeah, of course, we saw that contact between them early. David Nodge not happy about the contact between the two of them. We'll get to that fight once this one cools down a bit. Fight in the car there as Indika through the NGK chicane and into the final corner. Fighting the car as hard as he can to try and keep it on the road and going as quick as possible. Has a decent lead here running down towards turn 1. I don't think he's going to even have to defend this one from Johannes. That's a chunky gap he's got there.
Yeah. Maybe gives us a little bit of time to look at Alexander Romand now.
Yeah. On board with Romand, looking back towards the eyes of David Nudge. Contact between the two of them entering the Mercedes arena section earlier in the race. Left Nudge very disappointed. But now he's going to be angry. He's going to be determined. He wants that 4th place. The number 33 Audi directly behind. Going to be piling on the pressure. 1 minute 55 remaining. That means that we're going to be having 2 laps of this race remaining. So he's got 2 laps, 2 attempts into turn 1. Nothing into the NGK chicane. We look at Alexander Romand on the right-hand side of your screen. David Nodge not able to make anything work, going for that late apex, hooking it back late, a little bit slower. But that was a brilliant exit there for David Nodge. Romand all the way over to the inside. Now he pushed Nodge off on the exit of turn 1. A bit of contact between the two. Is Nodge going to try and go down the inside? No, he's not. Back to the outside. Potentially hoping for a mistake from Romand. Is he going to go around the outside? Oh, super aggressive there. Alexander Romand. Oh, a bit of contact between the two of them. But it's good. David Nodge, as you like. Fantastic work. He didn't need a second invitation to that one. All the way around the outside. Looking super cool here. Romand though trying to make a lunge down the inside of the exit of the Mercedes arena section. Nothing quite working. He'll look down the inside of the hairpin. He knows he needs to make a move because David Nodge will try and pull away. He closed that gap. Contact between the two of them there at the hairpin. Nothing quite working. David Nodge under an immense amount of pressure now. He's got that move done, but it is not complete yet. He has to remain defensive for the next lap and a half onto the back straight through the very, very fast, completely flat out left hand, right hand, I don't know if that's right, up towards the NGK chicane. I think he may hold on to this one from now.
Just checking with Euronics 1 with Julian Kunze here as he's about to start his final lap of the race, and he's got a decent gap on Moritz Löhner.
Yeah, a good gap. You can see the late race pace as well from Matt Williams' Razor car, looking pretty good for Nikodem Wisniewski, who's currently in that 3rd position, occupying the final seat on the podium. Will potentially be getting an interview with the Euronics Gaming 1 team afterwards, and what an interview it will be if this man can cross the line in P1 at the end of it. I'm sure he will be happy, his teammate though more so. Comes into the hairpin, the final time of the race. Do not forget that this is part of a 3-race championship. Follow us later. The next race will be starting at roughly 2 o'clock, so in 20 minutes time we'll be going to Zandvoort and then to Most. This team taking the Audi to all 3 races, the team behind as well, and the team behind that, you see Moritz Löhner behind Julian Kunze here, runs up towards NGK for the final time. And I am sure Florian Haase is going to be sitting there in the crowd, heart racing. And we said that today was going to be the day for Florian Haase and Julian Kunze. Kunze victorious here at the Nürburgring. What a stint there for him. A brilliant, masterful, tactical overtake there on Maurice Löhner and Julian Kunze. He was second all day yesterday in every session, in every qualifying, in every race. But today, the first session of the day, the first race, he takes the top step. We'll be grabbing an interview with Julian and Florian after the race. It will be in German, but I can tell you, you will see the emotion on their face. What a race. Running down the rest of the order, Williams Chill Blast in 2nd position ahead of Williams Razor, the sister team. Team Hungary we have on screen here, doing a brilliant move on Ascaro Esports to get up into 4th position, 5th position for Ascaro. A little bit of contact between the two. I don't think that's quite done with yet. We'll see that more over the next few races. We look back at ACR, currently driven by Pinches. A good final stint for them into 6th. Euronics Gaming 2. A good final stint there from Rakel. GT Omega, what could it be for them? Obviously with that mistake from Stefanko. Fida Ragnar doing a decent effort here, 9th position. Held off Underdog. A very, very good stint there for them. Underdog in 10th position. RR VGT VRS down in P11. We look down the order. 3BV Racing in P12. GTR3 LHC in P13. Useless Racing, not so useless in P14. Last minute in P15. Ballas Racing struggling. Panabianco not able to make much progress there. P16 for them, and Meeting Europe in that Corvette. Rounding out the grid. Wow. What an opening race again.
Absolut richtig, ich stehe bei Euronics. Neben mir Florian Haase, der hat sich noch eben schnell die Schuhe festgebunden. Und hinter mir Julian Kunze. Erstmal herzlichen Glückwunsch an euch beide. Bombenleistung. Flo, du hast ein bisschen Probleme gehabt, mit der Pace von Jack Heasley mitzuhalten, oder?
Ja, also am Anfang war es noch einigermaßen okay, als ich im Windschatten drin war. Da gewinnst du pro Runde so 2-3 Zehntel, aber dann hatte ich so 1-2 Fehler eingebaut, was so den Abstand ein bisschen vergrößert hatte. Und das war es dann schwierig. Da ging es dann nur darum, den Abstand nicht zu groß werden zu lassen, damit Julian dann die Möglichkeit bekommt, Moritz noch zu attackieren.
Hat euch das überrascht, als ihr dann gemeinsam hier standet, also gerade du mit Moritz, dass Jack dann am Ende doch nochmal eine Runde länger draußen geblieben ist?
Na, das war eigentlich erwartet, weil der Jack ja doch als etwas stärkerer Fahrer gilt. Aber ja, war super gemacht vom Flo, da auch noch den 2. Platz im Quali rauszuholen. Aber ich denke, das war eine gute Basis und ich wusste, was ich für eine Pace gehen konnte. Und nach 2 Runden Eingewöhnungsphase ging es dann auch.
Ja, starke Leistung von Euronics. Das waren die ersten 50 Punkte für die beiden. Mal sehen, wie es gleich im nächsten Rennen weitergeht.
Yeah, it's good to hear from us. Say we get the emotion there from the pair of them. I am excited to go and have a conversation with them afterwards. Please don't forget, we have qualifying coming up at 2:10 for the next race at Zandvoort. Be there, and it's going to be some good racing for us.
So, sehr geil. Also, wir machen jetzt nur noch eine 10-minütige Pause. Die 5 Minuten habe ich gerade eben gebraucht, bis ich das Mikro wieder hatte. Ja, in 10 Minuten um 14 Uhr geht es weiter.